Well, I've written 8 books. In almost all of my books, there's a great aunt character. I have a very close relationship with my great aunt, who's been a friend, like a grandmother. I may have spent more time with her than most human beings. So I always have a character somewhat based on her in my books. Um, so that's a recurring theme. I think for at least 2, let's see, for my novel, The Extra Man, my novel, Wake Up, Sir, the short story, Bored to Death, very much play on this theme of someone being obsessed with books themselves and wanting their life to be like something out of a book. For my novel, The Extra Man, the character, from reading a lot of Somerset Maugham and Thomas Mann and Fitzgerald and Evelyn Waugh and P.G. Wodehouse, wanted to be what he thought of as a young gentleman. And he'd seen all these books as the literature of a young gentleman, you know, of how a young gentleman might live. And so he had this fantasy that he was a young gentleman. And the book was kind of constructed almost like The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. And then my novel, Wake Up, Sir, in my mind was very much about someone who'd been driven insane by reading too much P.G. Wodehouse. And this all came from my spending a year reading Don Quixote, and the way that Don Quixote read all these books of chivalry and came to believe that he was a knight. So I really got into this notion of seeing life as this fantasy very much influenced by the books you read. And then the same thing with Bored to Death. The character's been rereading all his Raymond Chandler novels and some David Goodis, and he gets it in his mind that he should be a private detective. And so then, the story is about someone being driven by literature to do something, and then I get to write it in the style of a thriller. And whereas with my novel, Wake Up, Sir, I kind of wrote it in my mind in the style somewhat of a Wodehouse novel. So those are obsessions. I think obsessions with sexuality, of, you know, of trying to define oneself or trying to escape definition, is also a theme. New York City, most of my work is set in New York, except for Wake Up, Sir. So these would be some of my themes.